So I'm Anne-Marie Pearman, and today I am joined by Wayne Yates. Wayne is 33. He's a driving instructor. He's also a three-piece facilitator and coach. And him and his partner, Carolina Barker, both created, or he's the co-creator with her, of How to Connect with Humans and the Back to Being You Facilitator Training School. So welcome, Wayne. Nice to have you here.
Hello, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Good. So I'll start off by asking you, Wayne, prior to you coming across the three principles understanding, how was life for you, and did coming across the three principles change your life in any way?
Yeah, before coming across the three principles, for me, my life just didn't feel right. There was always something missing. Because I've got cerebral palsy, I always just kind of felt like I was a bit of a spare part and didn't really fit anywhere, and that my disability was always the downfall of my life, and I was broken because of it. Um, and I was in and out of care quite a lot when I was a child, and I kind of just thought, oh well, this is my life because of my disability. I didn't, my life was just that. It was just like, okay, I'm my disability. I'm broken. Nobody wants me. I'm not loved because I've got something that I can't help. And coming across the three principles really changed my life. Um, and all it was that I walked into my auntie's house after I'd separated with my ex-wife, and Carolina was there, who we got together shortly after, but all she did was just talk to me. And it was, she mentioned about the three principles, and my life literally had just changed overnight. Before that, I kind of thought, oh, okay, my life's over. Nobody wants me. It's just reaffirming what I thought previously, that my marriage has ended. That's it. But then the next day, I woke up and I felt like a new person. And even to this day, I say to Carolina, I can't even remember what you were talking about. And after that, we just kind of talked some more throughout the next couple of days. And I just kind of just felt lighter and lighter and lighter. And then after that, at one point, she turned around to me and said, the three principles is like, or your mood is like the weather and the clouds. Behind the clouds, there's always sunshine. And for me, that was like bang, that was it. And then shortly after that, we got into a relationship. And because of the relationships I'd been in the past, I had an idea of what a relationship was like to me. And because there's an age gap between me and Carolina, it just wasn't right, the relationship that I thought we should have and what she thought we should have. So we kind of came into some issues. And then I had what I thought would be some relationship coaching from Janet Rhynie. And after that, Janet Rhynie turned around to me and said, who do you think you are? Who is Wayne? And then that was the end of the session. And I just was like, I mulled it over for the week and everything like that. And then we got to the next session and she said, if you're not Wayne, who would you be? Well, for me, that was it. I literally was just like, oh, I'm not having that. That really blew my mind. And I kind of just had to sit with it and just let it be, because I was just like, well, that's just ridiculous. I'm Wayne, I've got this disability, I'm broken, I'm whatever. And she was like, no, you can be whoever you want to be. you don't have to be Wayne. You don't have to be Wayne with a disability. You can be whoever you want to be. And ever since then, my relationship, especially with Carolina, has just flourished. But my relationship with everyone else, you know, I've got friends, I've got family that was kind of like, well, you know, they didn't know really how to kind of take me. They were kind of a little bit on eggshells. They were kind of, you know, a bit reserved. But now I can kind of completely open up to them, which is completely different to how my other relationships have ever been. So the Three Principles has definitely changed my life for the better. And to be honest, even to this day, I don't know what I would have done without them.
So if somebody came to you as a coach and it was like a younger version of yourself, can you think of what you would say to them?
I think I would say to listen. Because when I first came across this, there was times where Carolina tried to explain things to me, and there was times where I'd just kind of switch off. Because there were times where she would come back from London from a training, and I would be, it's not that I wouldn't be interested, but I kind of would just, she would be kind of all on a high, and I would just be kind of like, okay, so when am I going to get a word in edgeways? When am I going to be able to tell her about my day? And for me, the moment I started listening, like truly listening, changed everything. And I think it was just getting out of my own ego's way.
So were you involved in the understanding before you became a driving instructor?
No, not really. The understanding came afterwards. But to be honest, the understanding has helped in my driving instructor anyway. Because before I used to kind of attribute everything that the pupil used to do to, oh, okay, they want to try and kill me, they want to try and do this, they just want to muck up my day. Now I'm kind of seeing it as, okay, well, they're having problems, they're having issues doing this or doing that. Okay, let's recalibrate what I'm doing. How can I help them? And even to a point of, they talk to me during lessons and in the car, and I'm like, okay, so let's think about it this way, let's think about it another way. And it's that, it's the freedom that this understanding gives you.
And along with Carolina, you're also co-creator of How to Connect with Humans. Can you tell me how that came about?
Yeah, that came about during the first lockdown in March of 2020, I believe it was. And Carolina just came to me one day and said, right, I want to start talking. I want to start doing a series of some sort. I want to have guests. I don't know where this has come from. I just know I've got to do it. It was kind of like a pull. And as soon as she came to me with the idea, I could see in her face there was something about that. There was something really, there was the pull. And for me, I'm just like, yeah, I'd love to. And then we started asking guests, and literally, even to this day, I'm kind of like, well, why didn't we do it sooner? Because we asked Chip and Jan, and they were like, yeah, absolutely. And then we asked Dickin, and we just looked at each other and said, is this really this easy? What have we been worried about? And I remember when we first did our first episode with Chip and Jan, I got so nervous and so kind of tongue-tied. I look back on that one now and I'm just like, oh God, was I really like that? But throughout the whole series, or the 6 series that we're on now, I've just seen it as kind of, I've been able to grow. And it wouldn't have been possible without Carolina. Because there's times where I'll be kind of explaining things and not really kind of getting my point across, and she'll kind of take over and kind of put my point in a different way, and it will just kind of give me time to just recalibrate again.
I'm trying to think of a word of what your double act could be. Your own something. Yates and Barker, Barker and Yates. I don't know. And also back to being Youth Facilitator Training School. How long have you been doing that? I know you're doing that with Carolina as well.
Yeah, we're doing that. We've had the school for quite a while. We are looking at doing more things within the school at the moment, but currently we're on a break because it's currently the 6 weeks holiday with the schools and everything. So we both wanted a bit of a break from how to connect with humans and how to the back to being new training school. But we do really want to kind of expand and kind of get more people as facilitators, and just kind of expand what we're doing together and individually.
And when I put this onto YouTube, I'll make sure I put your website details and YouTube channel on as well.
Thank you.
It's okay. Trying to think. You mentioned you were in care as a child. Has the Three Principles understanding changed how you view that experience?
Absolutely, yeah. And this was only recently, I was asked to do kind of my story for Liliana Bellini and The Big Simple, who work with people in care. And it was only at that point that it hit me that, wow, when I said earlier that I wasn't loved, that I was. The people that took me in, they saw something in me. They were kind enough and loving enough to take me in. Now, when I was younger, I wasn't the most behaved person in the world. For me, I kind of put it down to the past and down to, being in care and not being loved and all that. And they just loved me. They didn't care what happened to me. And they just loved me. And for me, it was such a foreign feeling. And it literally hit me. As I was writing it down, it hit me. Hit me like a ton of bricks. And as Carolina knows, it's one of those things that just rocks you for a couple of days, that kind of makes you wobble. And for me, and anyone that goes into care, I'm just like, you know what? You're not broken, you are loved. And you're loved by the people that take you in. So it's just, to be honest, if I could meet all the people that I've been in care with now, and I still am in a sense, I've got friends up in Birmingham, and they took me in for 2 years. And like when I think I was 16 at the time, and they took me in, and there's not a day goes by where I'm not in contact with them, and there's not a single point where I'm thanking them for what they've done. Because yes, I've got this understanding now, but before they just took me in and loved me. And if it wasn't for them, part of it, I wouldn't be who I am today.
And has it also helped your relationship with your family?
I've always had a bit of a dodgy relationship with my mum, or in the past I have anyway. But my family, yeah, definitely. My brother, my sister, I get on with. But it's on a different level. Before this understanding, it was kind of, oh, okay, they're older than me, so I've got to kind of fit in line. But now it's more kind of, okay, well, we're all on a par. They're not better than me because they're older than me. These are just the stories we've made up. But yeah, I think I'm more. I've got a better relationship with my brother, or I'd say a more local relationship with my brother, because my sister I do see, but not as much as I see my brother. But yeah, I think we've just got that kind of brother bond.
It's interesting what you say about age as well, because it struck me when I had Sora Rosenblatt on an earlier episode, how much wisdom she had. And I think she's only 22 or 23, and she was just blew my mind. And I thought, I wish I could speak like you when I was 22, 23.
Yeah.
I just hadn't got a clue. But yeah, we do put so many labels on things, and without even meaning to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So the thing you did with the Big Simple, you said that you were talking about your story, and I know Liliana's involved with helping those in care at the moment. What was she just asking you to tell your story about your time in care? Was that what it was about?
Yeah, she asked me to write my story down on paper for, I think that it was their website. But I think she also wants me to be involved in some way with that. I think when restrictions are lifted, I think they're going to be going into, I think, care homes and things like that for people that have been in care. And to be honest, that's one of the things I would love to do, because as I said before, if I had somebody come to me while I was in care and telling me about this, it would have changed my life even earlier. I wouldn't have blamed myself as much as I did.
Yes, I know from my own personal experience of the understanding, it has helped me. If I ever have low moments, I don't stay low for as long, for example. And yeah, I seem to be able to shake things off a lot quicker than I used to, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I for me, I think sometimes I think tiredness for me kind of puts me in a low mood, but also I kind of know that if I'm tired, then not to take myself too seriously, and then just kind of shut myself away, and just kind of recuperate, and then come back to life, come back home.
And being tired is just your body's way of telling you that you need to relax and take some time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Have you done any work with other people with disabilities using the understanding at all, or?
No, not as yet. No. I'd love to. It's an area that I myself personally are, really, really passionate about, and I know Caroline is the same. So we'd love to kind of do, workshops together with people with disabilities. But for me, even just having conversations with people, with disabilities, like I've got friends with disabilities, and I'll just have a conversation with them. So, I'll have a friend that comes to me and say, "Oh, I'm not feeling great because of this or that," and I just have a conversation. I don't even sometimes mention the three principles, but for me, it's where I'm coming from, and I remember sometimes I've had conversations with friends, and they've actually turned around to me and gone, "Oh, hang on, where did this come from? You were never like this before." I was like, "Well, yeah, but it's the freeing nature. It's the kind of being able to let go of everything that is on your mind and kind of listen to them, and that's where the golden ticket is listening to people."
Mm. I know with my involvement through the heartfelt presence coaching, which I know Carolina does a bit of. I don't know whether Wayne do as well. I'm not sure.
I've done a few, yeah.
And they've spoken on that about. I think it was on that about using the term the three principles. Often people think that means they have to do something. So avoiding using that, because you don't actually have to do anything. It's just your own innate wisdom. So
Yeah.
It's sort of trying to remember that you're not trying to fix people, you're showing them that they have that within them to, find
Yeah,
the true essence, I suppose.
absolutely. I mean, I remember when I first came across the principles, after the coaching that I did with Janet Rhynie, I was like, oh, I really want to get into coaching. I really want to do this. And I think, like so many other people, they kind of go, okay, where can I do the training? And I started training with Ian Watson in the Insight Space and became a facilitator um, under his guidance. Um, and it was an amazing course, it was. But also for me, I think what I've learned more is since we've been doing the series, I've learned more about myself, more about just being, just letting everything go and not having to feel guilty about not knowing something, and just having that freedom just to kind of share what's on your mind at that point. There's times where we'll start a webinar and I'll be, oh, okay, I'm tired, I'm not feeling great, or I've had a really bad day and this pupil's annoyed me, or whatever, just things have not gone right, and before I would kind of just try and drop that. And as the series have gone on, I've just kind of gone, you know what, you don't have to drop it. If something's on your mind and something triggers that within the call, then talk about it. For me, it's, you don't have to mask what's going on. If something's annoying you, then something's annoying you. If you're in a low mood, you're in a low mood. You don't have to kind of mask it. And seeing people within the community as well. When I first came across this understanding, I used to see, pictures of like Dickin and Coisy and Chip and Jan, and they're always looking happy and things. And I was just like, oh, okay. So that they've got the magic, but they know what it is. And then there was a point, and I was just like, oh, okay, so where do I get that from? And then I realised, hang on a minute, just because they look happy in that picture doesn't always mean that they've always got that. And it was so freeing to know that, because I was like, okay, so our relationship with Carolina's got to be perfect, got to be this, got to be that. And that is so tiring. And we can be really happy, or we can be really sad. But you know what? That's life. That's a relationship. You have your ups, your downs. And it's not kind of, okay, we can't have our downs because we know this understanding. That was another one that really got me, was like, oh, okay, now I know this understanding, I have to always be here. I can never be here. And that, it kind of allowed me to kind of just be free and kind of be angry when I wanted to be angry, be happy when I wanted to be happy. Even if people around me weren't happy, I could be happy. Or I'd be upset when I want to be upset, and showing it as well. For me, before I came across this understanding, to get upset wasn't the done thing. Because I was male, because I was this, because I was that. But now I can just express that. I can express that emotion, that love, and truly mean it. I can express that sadness, I can express that happiness, and truly be happy, truly mean it, and not fake it.
Those are lovely words, Wayne. Has anyone got any questions or comments they'd like to put to Wayne? Or
I was just going to say the love. I could see the love between you two. I mean, before Carolina even came on, I'm like, wow, listen to him. You guys sound like teenagers in love. And then the look on her face, I'm like, oh, wow, very, very touching. I just see a lot of love. It's just, how long have you been together?
8 years and 5 months today.
Oh, my goodness. The way you talk about each other, it's like the honeymoon phase. That's just really very, very touching. I like that. Thank you. And an interesting story. Thanks.
To be honest though, our relationship, it doesn't feel that long. We were working it out together earlier, and we were just like, has it really been that long? I mean, sometimes, some days it feels like it's been really that long. But then other days it just feels like, you know what, we've been together 5 minutes. And it's like Sharon said, the love. Before I met Carolina, I didn't, and before coming across this understanding, I didn't feel like I could love somebody like I love Carolina. The love, for me, it's on another level. I can't put it to words. It's just, it's one of those things that you hear about in stories, and you just kind of think, oh, okay, it's been written about, you know, it's been exaggerated. But it's not. It's And even to this day, I remember Chip Chipman saying at some point he walked into a room after 50 years or something like that, and he saw Jan, and he saw the love. He saw the woman he fell in love with. And even to this day, I get that feeling when Carolina walks through the door. And Sharon was saying about the honeymoon period. For me, I'm still in it. And it's weird because I always say to Carolina, this relationship, it's on a different scale because of this understanding, we've both got it, we both know it. But to have this understanding in a relationship together, we can just be who we want to be. And I can't honestly say that I could love somebody more. If I didn't have this relationship, I don't think I'd know this amount of love. And I can love her and she can be in a mood with me, or she can have a bad day or anything, and she can just look at me and I'll just look at her and I'll just be like, it's okay. It's okay to be where you are. And she will do exactly the same. And I've never had that in a relationship. I always thought it was something that you had to kind of buy, or you couldn't get it from somebody without giving them something. And for me, I just feel like I have that every single day. I feel like I'm the luckiest man alive. And when we first met, Carolina has always said that she saw me. She didn't see my disability. Now, for me, I was just looking a complete wreck. I just wasn't feeling anywhere as kind of, amazing as she was looking, because from what I remember, she was just looking incredible. But to this day, I'm still kind of like, okay, so what's my disability? And yes, I walk with a walker. Yes, I've got sticks. Yes, I've got a wheelchair in the boot of my car. But what is my disability? The only thing that doesn't work is my legs. And it's only since I've known Carolina and this understanding, to be honest, that I've had that freedom to kind of let go of my disability. I remember when I first moved into this property, and even the last property. Well, the last property was adapted, but we didn't adapt it anymore to what it was. And this property has not been adapted at all to suit my needs. But it doesn't need to be, because I can adapt to it. I remember saying to Carolina yesterday that we're looking to go to Cyprus in October. And because of all the current restrictions and things, it's a little bit more tricky. And I said, well, we need to kind of book it earlier, or as soon as we can, really, because if we don't, then we're going to struggle to get a hotel room that's adapted. And the words that came out of my mouth was, oh, it doesn't matter if it's not adapted, we'll manage. And that's for me, I've never liked using the disability card, and I still don't. I'd much rather somebody treat me as a human being rather than see my disability. But for me, it's kind of like Carolina's never seen my disability. And even now, like I've just said before, I'm not even seeing my disability. And as you can probably tell, previous to this, my disability was a massive thing. To me, anyway. And to have that kind of just fall away is amazing. So it doesn't matter to me whether we have a room with a bath in Cyprus or we have a room with a shower, because we'll make it work. And to be honest, it's our relationship. We've come across different issues in the past in our relationship. And what's different for me in this relationship than others is that we've worked through it together. It's never been like you're on your own. And I think for me, it just shows the strength of not just me as an individual, not just her as an individual, but together in our relationship.
Well, I can't think of anything else to add to that. I don't know if else has got anything.
Hello. Well, my ears have been ringing. Oh my gosh, to see you and Marie and Wayne together, it's just, oh, and the beautiful Sharon that just asked, well, said those beautiful words. It's just, my heart is like, oh, Anne Marie, you are amazing, and we love your series, you know we do. And I always feel that you bring out of people such honesty, and like, we can all sit with you and talk for hours because we can relate and feel that we are home and we are safe. That's how it feels. And I think what you do when you offer this space for other people is that we can all talk about our humanity, that this is common to all of us, that Wayne, you know how much I love you, and you got me in tears since I clicked start, and you're amazing. And I remember saying to Wayne, like, when I met him, was, you know what, you think people are not going to choose you because of your disability, but what I see is that, well, I know what you're going to pin your insecurities into. It's visible, it's obvious, it's your disability. With me, you don't know what you're getting because mine are not obvious. And we all go around with these, we think, disabilities. Obviously, when Wayne says I didn't see it yet, of course I saw him walking with two sticks and and struggling. But the first thing I saw was him. And but I remember saying to him and as I was saying it, I was like, oh wow. And for me, it was actually reassuring that to see somebody that I thought, oh, I sort of know where he's gonna go. This is why my life is what it is, right? And I had so many other things that that he didn't know where I was gonna go. This is what I suffer. I suffer from depression. I have panic attacks. I can't sleep. My life is like this or like that. And so it's been an incredible journey for both of us to learn and to I learned to adapt so much more to other things. But yesterday we were talking, Wayne, about when you get together with somebody and you take that for granted, that especially when you get married and you feel that that is like you sign this paper where you're going to be loved and accepted and with somebody forever, and they're not going to leave you, and that's done. And because that's done, then you don't have to sort of like keep working in a way in that relationship. And so we had a wonderful talk yesterday, and I don't know if you would love to share some some of that, or whatever comes to you, Wayne, that is, because I think it's very useful for other people, because we see each other and we have moments of honeymoon, but then as other people, 80% of the time we have bumps on the road, right? So doesn't stop us from having the honeymoon moments, and that's the beauty of it. So that would be in this long talk of mine, sorry to use your space. So would you like to share some of that? And thank you.
Yeah, I think it was a fantastic talk, and for me it was just really kind of liberating, just to kind of say, well, okay, this is what you feel about what marriage is, and this is what I feel, and the differences. You know, just because we're married doesn't mean we have to have a joint bank account, doesn't mean we have to agree on this or agree on that. You know, I could cook potatoes one way, you could cook potatoes another way. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. And it's just the freedom to just be us, the freedom to be happy. And it was amazing just to kind of have that loving talk that we can have. I mean, I'm not saying we don't always, because we do, but when it's things like that, I mean, I remember when we first got together, I said, oh, okay, we could get married when you're 50 and I'm 30. And at the time I really meant it. But for me, and I think for yourself, it's just not really kind of felt the time to do it. And that's okay. We don't need the marriage certificate to say that we love each other. We can be up, we can be down, and it doesn't mean anything about our relationship. Which is what I used to think. Oh, okay, we've had an argument. Oh, okay, it means the relationship's done. And as I said earlier, for me, this relationship has been so eye-opening in terms of when we first got into this relationship, I was just like, okay, this is on a different level, maturity-wise. And I feel like I have grown, but we've also grown together. And we can have talks about the difficulties of things, the things how we're feeling, the things that, you know, we're feeling, oh, okay, we don't want to get married yet, or we have got that connection to say how we're truly feeling. And for me, that's the heart and soul of a relationship. To absolutely be free and say to the other person, you know what? This relationship is done. This relationship's over. But also to tell the other person, I absolutely adore you. And to not be afraid of going, you know what? I don't like how you cook potatoes. I don't like how you leave your toothbrush on the side, or whatever it is. But having the freedom and not being worried to say it. I think one of the things that I do love about our relationship and the freedom in our relationship is the conversations we have. Because some of our conversations go really deep, but also we can have the times where we're just us and we have a laugh. I hope that answers your question.
I think that's all very lovely. And I've got a nice warm, ready Breck type glow. So I can't think of anything else to ask or put that would add any value. So unless anybody else has got something they'd like to say or ask, I'll call an end. Oh, Sharon.
Oh, I was just going to say thank you. You've got me in tears through the whole thing too, Wayne.
Thank you.
This has been really nice. You're welcome. Thank you. Just great feeling. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Wayne.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It's been an amazing, amazing call. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Carolina.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.